Hi, everybody. Good morning and welcome to day 3 of 2019. Pretty good morning here in the Spice Isle. Only 3 days into the new year, but I certainly do hope that things are going your way and that's an indication of things to come. We've got a long way ahead of us, and I hope you've already pledged to settle down and make this beautiful little country of ours the place that it can really be, huh? Just think of it. We have so many opportunities, golden opportunities lying ahead of us. Let's hope that you're ready to take your chances and not do like so many people do, just sit around and complain, but not just tell everybody else what they should be doing, but do your part. This morning, we're going to begin by taking a look at some people who have been honored for their contribution to society over the past year and over a number of years, I would imagine. The New Year's Honors List 2019. We're going to have that for you this morning. And in addition to that, I'm also going to tell you, you keep hearing about OBE, OBE. That means Order of the British Empire. Well, this morning, I bet for those of you who still don't really know what the OB is, we're going to try and explain that to you as well. We do have, could you believe it? They're back. They're back. The GIS did send us a national report last night, and we're going to have that for you. And then, of course, the highlight of today's program. I believe that he's gotten over his sore throat, and his vocal cords are back in action. Yeah, Thursday morning, Allan Baginski should be joining us. Sent me a note last night saying that he hoped to. So, now, let's get down to brass tacks. Her Majesty the Queen has been graciously pleased to give orders for the following appointments to the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire Civil Division to the following persons. KCMG goes to Mr. Walter St. John. He gets an OBE for his service to sport. An OBE also goes to Mr. Osmond Stanley Griffith for his service to policing and international affairs. MBEs go to a couple of people here. I see Teresa Marichaux for her service to farming. Lorene Ingrid Moraine for her service to her community. All right. The Queen has also been graciously pleased to give orders to approve the award of the British Empire Medal Civil Division to the following persons. British Empire Medal goes to Oscar Andel for his service to sports, and Mr. James Stafford for his service to culture. All right. Those are the awards which were meted out on the weekend, and thought I'd share them with you. My heartfelt congratulations go out to all of those who received awards. So, what is an OBE? You're about to find out. The Most Excellent Order of the British Empire is the British Order of Chivalry, rewarding contributions to the arts and sciences, work with charitable and welfare organizations, and public service outside of the civil service. It was established on June 4th, back in 1917, when you were just knee-high to a grasshopper, right? By King George V and comprises 5 classes across both civil and military divisions, the most senior 2 of which make the recipient either a knight if he's male or a dame if she's female. Got a few of those around here. There is also the related British Empire Medal, whose recipients are affiliated with but not members of the order. Recommendations for appointments to the Order of the British Empire were originally made on the nomination of the United Kingdom, the self-governing dominions of the Empire, later called the Commonwealth, and the Viceroy of India. Nominations continue today from Commonwealth countries which participate in recommending British honors. Most Commonwealth countries ceased recommendations for appointments to the Order of the British Empire when they created their own honors. That part I find very interesting. We have our own honors list here, don't we? But I see that we're still receiving honors from the British Empire. I guess we have the best of both worlds, in local parlance. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the motto for the OBE is "For God and the Empire." That's it. Now, when I read this stuff, I couldn't help but ask myself, we're supposed to have a referendum here, and we were supposed to change things and, shed the bonds of colonization and all that type of stuff. And I can't help but wonder, what would have happened if that referendum had gone through? Would we be sitting here this morning reading about those awards? I don't know. Folks, it's 8 minutes after the hour. Let me take a little break here, and then we'll come right back with the National Report.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us
As we energize our Spice-Eye.
Redleg, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical, and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners, and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance, and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors stability and wait. We still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for. Grenadian
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Government reaffirms commitment to finding speedy resolution to pension negotiations. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. Happy New Year to you. Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell has reaffirmed the government's commitment to finding a speedy and lasting resolution to the pension negotiations. Delivering his New Year's message, Dr. Mitchell said, and I quote, "Government stands resolutely committed to affording public service retirees a better quality of life, but we must balance that commitment with the responsibility to protect the interests of the wider population by ensuring that decisions made do not negatively impact the prospects for future development of this beautiful land," unquote. While there is firm agreement on the need for a pension for public officers, the Pension Engagement Committee and the public sector trade unions and staff associations have not yet reached agreement on the matter of advanced payment of pension or gratuity. Government has changed its offer to 8% gratuity with reduced pension over 8 years, but the unions and staff associations are holding fast to their demand of 25% gratuity.
We must be fiscally prudent in all our decisions. If we are not, we'll put at risk the very security of employment and pension payments of the same public officers we sought out to help.
Dr. Mitchell noted that since 2013, government has made significant improvements in pay and benefits for public officers, and he lamented the breakdown in the pension negotiations, which led to industrial action by teachers and other public officers. He said stability in the industrial relations climate is critical to the country's continued growth and development, which will invariably benefit all citizens.
Dear citizens, Grenadians, Caracunians, and Pitamartinicans, all. Any objective review of improvements in pay and benefits to public officers since 2013 will reveal the extensive payments made by government. I appeal to my trade union friends to work with us to achieve a realistic, fair, affordable, and sustainable resolution to this pension issue. The workers and people of Grenada deserve this.
With Grenada's new Olympic headquarters officially opened in the south of the island, Sports Minister Senator Nolan Cox is hoping it will inspire athletes to give of their best to their respective disciplines and the country. Government played an important role in the construction of the new building, providing the land, concession on material and equipment, as well as technical and engineering support. The headquarters was officially opened over the weekend.
It says to them that with the support of the keepers of this elegant facility, that they can reach heights in their career and they might have only dreamed of about. That with the hard work and the support of this Olympic Committee, the Grenada Olympic Committee, they can go on to represent this country of ours, Grenada, regionally and internationally, and do so proudly. This magnificent house signifies progress in the 42 years of existence of the Grenada Olympic Committee. It is a symbol of dedication and hard work of the Grenada Olympic Committee.
President of the Grenada Olympic Committee, Royston LaHaye, says the new Olympic headquarters speaks volumes to the level of confidence placed in sporting associations and athletes. It was financed with resources donated by Pan Am Sports and will feature a gym, office space, a sports store, a museum, a library, an entertainment room, a conference room, and an internet cafe.
This building is not the first headquarters constructed by a sporting body in Grenada. That honor goes to the Grenada Football Association. But the construction of this new facility, when all is considered, is future evidence of the maturing confidence of our sporting organizations in advancing their various agendas and ensuring that the well-being of our athletes remain the primary focus of our existence.
This is the National Report. More news after the break. We're back with you to continue the work. We need you to improve our Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique.
So how can we invest more in the sporting arena to bridge that gap for a lot of young people?
I think there should be more forums like this.
We need to find a way in which to combat that. Now,
join us for the next Contributors Forum on Tuesday, January 8th, 2019 from 7 p.m. at the Crochet RC School in St. Andrew. Continuing the news, Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell is optimistic about continued growth prospects for Grenada. In his New Year's message, Dr. Mitchell said, as we welcome the new year, it is with great anticipation for what's to come. Undoubtedly, there are many opportunities ahead. Referring specifically to the construction sector, he noted that many private sector projects are scheduled to get underway this year. Dr. Mitchell, who is also the Minister for Finance, said this unparalleled level of economic investment by the private sector reveals a very high and increasing level of investor confidence in the local economy and its management, which augurs well for the future development of this country. He's of the view, however, that government alone cannot foster sustainable development, and he cited a need for a solid partnership with the private sector and workers.
The roles of government and private sector are separate but complementary, as together they provide a tried and tested formula for country's advancement. Government creates the enabling environment, but the real growth must be propelled by activity in the private sector, which can only strive in the context of industrial stability.
A number of Grenadians have been awarded by the Queen for their outstanding service to country. The Order of the British Empire, KCMG, has been awarded to Mr. Walter St. John, OBE, for service to sport, while Mr. Osmond Stanley Griffith has been awarded OBE for his service to policing and international affairs. Ms. Teresa Marichaud has been awarded MBE for service to farming, while Mrs. Lurin Ingrid Moraine has been awarded MBE for service to community. Also awarded on the Queen's New Year's Honours List are Mr. Oscar Andal, British Empire Medal for service to sport, and Mr. James Stafford, also British Empire Medal for service to culture. And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Pilgrims, I got to tell you, he almost made me wet my diapers. You know, Allan is extremely prompt. And this morning I noticed, wow, the national report's finished and there's no sign of Allan. So I picked up the phone and called him before I wet my diapers. And he said to me, I'll be on in 3 minutes. Okay. Well, he is here. However, now that he is here, I'm going to keep him waiting for just a couple of seconds so that I could say good morning to those of you on Facebook, whom I have ignored for the first, 23 minutes of the program. Fitzroy Adams is out there saying good morning, and so is Margaret. She's sending a big hiya to you guys. John Kennison says good morning from parish number 7, good old Carriacou. Good to see you, John. We're also joined by Sharon Elizabeth Roberts, Wilshire, saying good morning. Lori Bridgman is saying good morning to you guys, and she says, get up, Grenada. It's another day. And she actually has a Grenadian flag up there with her post this morning. Now, in reference to the news, when you listened to the national report a little while ago, I'm sure you heard mention of that Olympic building that's just been opened up down at Moulin Rouge. Well, yeah, there's a note here from John saying, yet there is no building, or yet no building can be found for courts. That's an interesting observation. Interesting observation, John. We're able to build this facility for sports, and I'm not saying they shouldn't. However, he's pointing out that we just don't have the facilities to build offices or courtrooms here in Grenada. Kind of silly, eh? Irene Rattan is also joining us and saying good morning. And Gemma Monica Hunt on Facebook is saying Happy New Year, Mr. Grant. Happy New Year to you too, Gemma. Okay, folks, now that we've gotten that out of the way, time to say good morning to this young man up there. Take a look, take a look. Good morning, Mr. Brzezinski, and how art thou? I'm not hearing you, sir.
Good morning, George. Happy New Year. Is that any better?
Pardon me?
Is that any better? The sound all right?
Better. Now, first of all, Allan, I am glad that you have obviously overcome your sore throat. What were you eating, man? Or drinking?
Probably getting a little more sleep than usual.
Okay.
But there's still a little holdover from 2018. But anyway, I'm a lot better than I was last week, that's for sure. And I've encountered a number of people who had it a lot worse than I did.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. Apparently, it was what I had was just the 2%. Some of them had 25.
Yeah, man. Yes, Allan. He hasn't even started yet, but he has started.
Anyway, so Happy New Year. This is traditionally the time when we look back on the year past. We try to forget most of what happened, and we look forward because, as Alexander Pope wrote in 1734 in his essay on man, hope springs eternal in the human breast. And so, as we look forward to 2019, I want to encourage everybody to allow hope to spring eternal. Let us hope that the abandoned buildings in St. George's will receive the proper attention from the authorities, the fiscal authorities to start with, because one of the ways you get action is when the taxing authorities, in furtherance of their mandate to collect property tax, make the necessary inquiries into the ownership of these abandoned buildings, and then within the parameters of the legislation, levy for unpaid taxes. And if the taxes remain unpaid, it ought not to be a difficult matter, given the level of legal advice available, particularly in the Ministry of Finance. That one went over your head.
I haven't said, I'm smiling, but I haven't said anything.
Nevertheless, it would seem not to be an insurmountable legal problem to arrange for the necessary levies and for the appropriate consequences if the levy remains unpaid. We cannot continue to allow unauthorized occupancy of these abandoned buildings in St. George's to be terminated only in the event of arson, and then put about that it is believed that the buildings had been occupied by vagrants. To start with, vagrancy is against the law. So, the Royal Grenada Police Force need not wait for instructions from above, as though commandments must be delivered from the mount. I'm not talking about Mount Royal, you understand?
Yes.
But they ought to be able to exercise their responsibilities under the law to deal with the issue of vagrancy. There is a social dimension to it. We have a ministry for social development. We have, I believe, a division to deal with poor and vulnerable persons. We have divisions to deal with substance abuse, the victims, and presumably there ought to be a connection made between the victims of drug abuse and the purveyors of the drugs that lead to this abuse. So let hope spring eternal that the people in charge will do something about the abandoned buildings and their apparent proclivity for incendiary events. The last one in Simmons Alley, or the environments thereof, posed a danger to a major financial institution. Also, in that area, I am aware that there are certain residences. And then you have the Anglican Church. Something ought to be done. Now, on the question of hope springing eternal, I will not forget the statements made by the Honorable Minister of Health with regard to the initiatives to pick up abandoned vehicles, which he has identified as creating an environmental health hazard. Apart from that, we cannot, on the one hand, talk about pure Grenada when we have abandoned vehicles along our roadways up and down the country. We seem to have a proliferation of roadside garages which appear unable to effect repairs within a reasonable period. And as a result, our roadways are littered with rotting hulks of Japanese solid waste. But hope springs eternal in the human breast, and I hope it will indeed do so in the breast of the Honorable Minister of Health, who is also the parliamentary representative for South St. George. And hope still springs eternal that these are apparently abandoned inquiries into Panorama and the scandal in the Royal Grenada Police Force Motor Vehicle Licensing Department, that these inquiries will, if not already concluded, result in action being taken against those who are, were, continue to be irresponsible, because we had promises that something would be done. And in this regard, I trust that between the Russians and the Chinese, that they will in fact find something as a result of all this underwater exploration, and that this exploration will be bound by treaties of delimitation of marine resources between ourselves and the Fraternal Socialist Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, where we are well informed that over 10,000 Russian military personnel are now based, along with nuclear-capable bombers. But hope springs eternal. And with regard to abandonment, I can only hope that a precedent having been established where the government in its wisdom abandoned the case it brought against the Rex Grenadian property owners and abandoned the defense of the appeal made to the Privy Council regarding the suitability of character to practice law in our courts, that reason will be brought to bear, and that similarly the government will abandon its case against Grenlec. Because when you compare Grenlec's record as a corporate citizen with certain other major businesses, which are either solely owned or family owned, pay no taxes, and make a big song and dance about the contributions to our economy that they make, these contributions pale in comparison by those that have been made since 1994 by Grenlec, which is a publicly held corporation listed on the OECS Stock Exchange, which pays income tax. I repeat, it stands out because they pay income tax. They provide a world-class service. They employ Grenadians who are very handsomely remunerated. They support and have supported community projects until, and I will not suggest the motivation of those who passed the legislation to make it difficult for Grenlec to continue its long established support of these community projects. And so, since they have established the precedent of abandonment of court cases, hope springs eternal in my breast that they will see fit to abandon this crusade against Grenlec. And for what reason? Because Grenlec, given the nature of a publicly held corporation, will not, does not, cannot bow to the whims and fancies of any minister or former manager or influence peddlers, etc., etc., etc. And so, hope still springs eternal that the committee, which a few years ago invited the company that I then was employed with to contribute to a fantastic spectacle on New Year's Eve, I would hope that this committee, which delivers this public spectacle, if it still exists in committee form, I don't know, will be subject to the rigors of transparency and accountability, so that the public, which enjoys the spectacle of New Year's Eve fireworks for 9 minutes and 21 seconds, I believe.
23.
And that we will be made aware of the true cost of this exercise and the source of the funds for this exercise. An annual extravaganza which outshines even the displays put on by a lot of hotels.
Yeah.
Including the most recent one.
Yeah.
So the question remains, who is paying for this? Whereas the committee may consider itself private, the reality is that it is a public spectacle. So the public is entitled to information regarding the source of the funding, and more importantly, to ask a very simple question. Given the obvious cost involved, might it not be better to take some of that money and help us provide hope to the poor, the vulnerable, and the vagrants who occupy our abandoned buildings in St. George's? So, as we embark on this journey for 2019, let hope spring eternal, George, because hope will never be extinguished. Happy New Year.
Don't go. Folks, as you listen to Mr. Baczynski there, I'm sure you realize that despite his sore throat, he was not sitting at home twiddling his thumbs. He's obviously been doing a lot of homework. Allan, you're sitting there talking. Yep, there's the pen, the green. Hey, did I see a green pen? Oh, hold that up again, please. Green pen. Green.
Yes. Can you see the logo?
Yes, I see the logo. But
okay, good, because I wouldn't want you to get the impression that I accepted gifts.
Okay, sir, I didn't get the impression. Now, Allan, I made a few notes while you were talking there, and one of the things you talked about was law enforcement in this place, but seems to be something that's going to hell in a handbasket in Grenada these days. Do you believe that the apparent decline in the effectiveness of law enforcement, there's a lot of speculation out there that some of it has to do with interference, external interference. You ever gave thought to that, and what do you think?
What I can refer you to is the report of the Duffus Commission of Inquiry into the breakdown of law and order in Grenada in 1973 and 1974. And the reasons for the breakdown in law and order were placed squarely at the feet of the Minister of National Security then. And I would have no difficulty in accepting that the same applies now.
Short and sweet. Short and sweet. Something else has to do with the adherence to our Constitution. It seems like, we keep talking about the Grenada Constitution, but there seems, especially in higher circles, there seems to have been some level of abandonment when it comes to the Constitution. Our Constitution, for some reason or another, just does not seem to mean what it did to us years ago when you and I were growing up. Agreed?
When I was growing up, the principal legal advisor to cabinet was Keith Allan, an eminent legal practitioner. I frankly don't know that the current principal legal advisor to cabinet has the breadth of legal experience to provide the necessary advice, and certainly the previous acting occupant has been so politically tainted that one has to consider whether or not that advice was worth the paper it was printed on.
Mm-hmm. I guess you're very much aware that as of the 1st of this year, we do have a new Attorney General.
Yes. In the person of?
Mr. Randani, I think.
Well.
Sometime last week I was down at the vendors market in Grand Anse. I don't know whether or not you saw the program we did over the holidays, but we were trying to get the opinions of Grenadians about, how could we make Grenada a better place. And I was very surprised to run into a gentleman there who I'm sure many Grenadians remember, a gentleman by the name of Dwight Hosford. Dwight was in line, or at least it was hoped that Dwight might become the Attorney General of Grenada. He was brushed over, and he's Grenadian, by the way. He was brushed over, and now we see that there's a Guyanese in the seat. Meanwhile, Dwight has been gladly appointed as the Attorney General of, is it St. Kitts? St. Kitts?
No, Tortola, British Virgin Islands.
Oh, the BVIs, okay. So
No, I'm wrong. It's BVI, but not Tortola. It's Anguilla is where it is.
Okay. And, just speaking to him for a couple of minutes, I got the feeling that he's hurt. He was insulted. But life goes on. The other thing I wanted to pick up on that you mentioned a little while ago, the outcome of investigations. We hear about investigations into this, investigations into that, but we never really hear about the outcomes. Right now, we have a big investigation going on, the one into the Marketing and National Importing Board. And I do understand, I've heard through the grapevine that, yes, they have to take things slowly, but when the results are revealed, we may be surprised at the direction in which it went. There's speculation that there are parties who may have been involved in this who not too many people heard about or would have suspected. Have you heard anything on the ground?
I don't speculate and I don't listen to rumors.
Okay, well, let me tell you, this, I hear you and I totally agree with you, Amy, but this wasn't speculation, eh? I got this from a good source. Trust me, a good source. That's all I would say to you. There's a note here on Facebook. John out there in Carriacou, I'm not sure exactly which statement you made, but he's saying, "Here, here, AB." He's agreeing with something that you said a little while ago. Now, updates on oil exploration. Where do we stand, Mr. Baczynski, with, he's smiling. Where do we stand with oil exploration in this country?
Well, I think I am standing several weeks ago, giving a parliamentary contribution when we were informed of the, to me, staggering development that the Russians, who had been given, as we understand it, the sole rights to exploration to all of our potential resources, actually have no resources of their own, and they have to go into a joint venture with a Chinese venture capital outfit. As you know, the Chinese are very willing to lend money to any kind of entity, particularly when they have reason to believe that the debt will not be able to be repaid, so that they can then acquire the asset in return for extinguishing the balance of the outstanding debt. I think you saw the information regarding over 20 seaport operations worldwide that have come under Chinese control as a result of their apparent willingness to extend loans. They've done very well out of this. Not only have they employed their own engineers and own labor, but at the end of the day, they have politicians in their back pocket, and they end up owning the entities. So we shall see.
You know, you mentioned
who we thought had access to our oil and gas resources might not be who actually ends up in control.
Thank you. You mentioned that, you mentioned seaports. Well, not only are they gobbling up seaports, but things like power companies and airports and so on are also up for grabs nowadays, as far as they're concerned. Globally.
Yeah, so tell them keep their hands off Grenada.
Off Grenada, but I also understand that there's some possibility of a seaport being developed here in Grenada. Time will tell on that one.
Let them come, we will bury them in the sea.
Oh, you have the muscle to fight the Chinese, eh?
Don't you? No, you were in Canada, so you're not familiar with the slogan.
No, tell me.
Let them come, we will bury them in the sea.
That was in reference to the United States.
1983.
Yeah, okay. AB, you know, one of the most frustrating things here in Grenada today for a lot of Grenadians is that a lot of questions are being asked about a number of different issues in this country, and we're not getting answers. There's not the openness that Grenadians would expect from the people whom they pay to run their business. One example, sometime back, the government of Grenada was asked, what is the national debt? And that was brushed off. That's just one.
No, to be fair, I don't know that has been brushed off, because
at the time.
Oh, at the time, yeah. But I don't think that the information isn't available, because I have attended a couple of meetings where the information has been presented by the technocrats in the Ministry of Finance. I think it is equally fair to say that the people who speak for government, that is our elected representatives, typically do not know of what they are speaking.
In so many instances.
Yep.
Yeah. Another example.
Including the apparent effects of the climate change in Carriacou.
Yes. Yes. Snow. I can't wait to experience snow in Carriacou. I can't. I don't know whether or not you heard Sharon Roberts a couple of days ago. We were talking about the airport. You remember just before the elections, there was supposed to be an airport that was going to be built, not Carriacou, but Petit Martinique. Did you hear about that one? Did you hear that promise just before the elections that Petit Martinique would be getting its own airport? Did you hear that? Why are you laughing? Come on.
No, because I cannot believe that anybody would actually have made such a statement.
It was made, AB. It was made.
Maybe a helicopter pad.
Well, that's why Sharon is suggesting. Maybe a helicopter pad. But the people were told they were going to get an airport. Are you familiar with Petit Martinique? Its terrain and so on?
The first time I went to Petit Martinique, I was in the bow of a pirogue. And the person on the dock mistook me for a family member of one of the residents. And when I did not respond to his entreaties to throw the rope, I was verbally abused, thankfully. But he having mistaken me for for someone else, I took it in good heart. We then were brought on a tour, which was a straight ride up the hill in a dumpster to a rum shop, where we spent an enjoyable morning.
I'm sure.
Subsequently, I believe on that same straight concrete road, the first motor vehicle, I think it was a little Suzuki van or something or other, ran off the road, and when they had this one four-wheeled vehicle, they subsequently experienced their first road fatality. So yes, I have been to Petit Martinique, and I do not know where the airport is going.
Yeah, maybe on the peak of that little hill they have up there. It's a pretty steep hill. AB, I don't know, but I think it's important that the people of this country really get their questions answered when they're asked. You know, people plan their futures based on available information, at least a lot of us. And when you ask questions of your administration and you're not getting those answers, it kind of impedes any progress that you may have hoped to have made. And I can only hope that in this coming year, they'll be a little bit more open. I remember some time ago, and I thought this one was really hilarious. This goes back to the oil and gas situation. In Parliament, a minister was asked whether or not there had been any bids accepted from other possible oil and gas prospectors. And he said, you know, it's really not necessary. That was his response. And then the question was asked of the Prime Minister. And he said, sure. So, you know, can you imagine the confusion that comes when you've got two high-ranking government officials giving you totally divergent views? Totally.
So, that being the case, would you say that one or the other of them is a liar?
Without doubt, sir, yes. It's obvious, Allan. It's obvious. Come on. Let the chips fall where they may.
You wouldn't go so far as to say they are both liars?
Well, now somebody... how could they both be?
Don't spend too much time on it. Really, then neither one of them is worth the effort.
Yeah. Okay, AB, in closing, just let me ask you. You got your finger on the pulse of things that are going on in this country. What would you... I'm going to ask you the same question I asked the people on the weekend. How do we make this place a better Grenada in 2019?
Health services, accessible health services. And you can jump up and down and talk about how many donations you got of ambulances. And I heard a new word used by the Honorable Minister in that our ambulatory requirements have been met. I always thought that ambulatory had to do with walking. But when you become an Honorable Minister, you don't really have to exercise common sense.
Yeah. Allan.
So, accessible health services.
Allan, you see the doo-doo we're in? Do you understand the doo-doo? And that's why the frustration. I'm still hoping that something will happen to give the people of this nation some hope, some real, genuine hope in 2019. Thank you very much, AB.
On the question of ambulatory, whatever happened to the motorcycle ambulances?
I don't know. I was thinking about that a couple of weeks ago. I was thinking about that. And, you know, maybe I should try and reach the Ministry of Health after we get off the air here and find out. How many of them were they?
19, as I recall.
19 motorcycle ambulances.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the very least, get them working and give them to some young people so that they could be snow cone vendors or something like that.
That's a pretty damn good idea. Okay, AB, so we're going to try and fix healthcare for you so that you'll patch up your next sore throat in a heartbeat.
Hope springs eternal.
Yeah, let's remember that as we go through 2019. Thanks, my friend. Looking forward to a lot of these conversations with you this year. Take care. Okay? Yes, sirree. There he goes, Mr. Allan Baczynski. Thanks, AB. Thanks. Oh, yeah. What? You know, we laugh, but I think that's the only thing to do to help us maintain our sanity. Folks, just about time to pull the plug. Let me take final break here, and we'll come back and wrap it up.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us
as we energize our Spice Act.
GRENADA, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical, and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners, and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance, and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Okay, folks. Somebody here, Lori Bridgman, just posted a comment here on Facebook. Good morning, Allan. It's the go time. I see I'm here. You are a true... Not sure what you're saying there, Lori, but she's saying that he is a true ambassador and she would like to meet him sometime this year. So come to Georgia's program more often. You're very informative, and she gives you the victory sign. Pilgrims, here we go. Parting word from the Holy Scriptures. Isaiah chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. And that day you will say, I will praise you, Lord. Although you were angry with me, your anger has turned away, and you have comforted me. Surely, God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. The Lord himself is my strength and my defense. He has become my salvation. Isaiah chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. Pilgrims, hey, those of you out there on Facebook, those of you on the other platforms around the world, thank you so much for joining us for our third edition of Gudday Grenada on this beautiful Thursday morning. George Grant, sending God's blessings your way. And by his grace, let's reassemble here tomorrow morning. And by the way, spread the word, like us, share. We would be honored if you did. God bless you.